allow me to discuss this in greater detail. Now, the Pokemon Presents for me is quite simply impressive. That's pretty much it as far as ratings are concerned, but not for the reasons you're thinking. Because out of the 3 things presented, only 2 piqued my interest, but it's because of the symbolism they stand for. And that's the takeaway from the Pokemon Presents for me, because yes, it's been this long since I felt the very same way I felt about Pokemon when I first picked up Pokemon Blue back in 1998. But in order for something like this to happen to me, something, again, impressive has to have happened. So the symbolism is simply this. The Pokemon Presents merely piqued my interest and optimism by revealing this bold new direction Game Freak, of all people, wants to take the franchise. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I'll try not to hold you for too long. Alright, first up is the rough stuff. Now, I've alluded to this, be it a tweet or a comment in one of my videos, so it's not really a secret that I absolutely hate anything Sinnoh related. To that end, I am not looking forward to the Diamond and Pearl remakes. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, it just doesn't get more creative than that. Putting the naming convention aside, because that's hardly the end of the world, well, look what's trending at number 4, and I'll just sum up this experience as something that has scarred me and nearly made me turn away from the franchise. I mean, Sinnoh as a region is the most unappealing region and experience next to Kalos to me. There was just never anything that stood out. The starters were forgettable. As far as a Pokemon story is concerned in general, I disregard it because it's your typical Pokemon fanfare, and if I want something story based, I play something like Final Fantasy, or something that isn't your typical collect gym badges, fill out your Pokedex, beat gym leaders, Elite Four members, and the champion, rinse and repeat the next generation of Pokemon games, along with that idiot villain team that is the epitome of a logical fallacy that's trying to change the world because of their so-called greater good. I guess Cyrus gets extra points for not only being a fucking maniac, stringing a bunch of nameless and brainless peons alone for his gain like the other villain teams, along with looking like Super Saiyan Blue. That's all the story means to me in any Pokemon game. And even the musical score was the dullest I've ever heard in Pokemon, again, until X and Y. The features didn't reel me in. Mount Coronet is the most fucked up location in any Pokemon game. Why would anyone dare to like, let alone celebrate such a horrible existence that requires you to use one of the most dreaded things in all of Pokemon, HMs? They really wanted you to feel like you were climbing a mountain, didn't they? Except that this is a video game that offers gameplay that's anything but enjoyable. It's tedious, infuriating, and insufferable instead. Oh yeah, I loved using Defog in the overworld. Otherwise, 19 out of 20 of my attacks would miss unless I'm using something like Feint Attack or Swift. Oh yeah, let's introduce another tedious and insufferable HM in the form of Rock Climb, literally surfing at the same speed you walk in Diamond and Pearl. Slow battle speed, slow tech speed. Not that gym challenges were ever anything but forgettable. With that said, it's just a retread of the same old thing. Sinnoh is essentially an inverted Hoenn region. Beyond that, everything was anything but appealing to me outside of the introduction of online play in Pokemon games, the physical and special split. The underground was mad until you actually found treasure. Spiritomb can go fuck itself with its attainment back then. Pokeball seals are overrated as hell. I guess people missed the memo where you had to constantly remove those from your Pokemon's Pokeballs every time you deposited them in a PC. So that was counterintuitive. And ultimately, Platinum didn't do anything more than offer the typical enhancements in an enhanced Pokemon game and Giratina's expanded arc. Again, nothing appeals to me about Sinnoh, and the things that were there did nothing but piss me the fuck off and were nothing but insufferable and tedious. With that out of the way, this chibi art style, I can see it growing on me, but it's absolutely fucking weird. Coming from Sword and Shield, it feels like a downgrade, and it kind of is, because I'm pretty sure people were expecting the same engine, but much more polished. But I get it, these are more remakes, but this just looks like a cross between Roblox and Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. The environments look better, if not less weird than the models of the trainers in Pokemon. I mean, what is this, Let's Go Roblox? But overall, the art style is just mad to me. It just feels off, especially coming from Sword and Shield, for better or for worse. Look at this trainer. And yeah, while game footage is not final, at the very least, this is going to take a lot to get used to. This just looks fucking half-baked. Overall, the art style is a bit of a downgrade. Pokemon went 3D, not the most impressive 3D, in 6th gen, only to come back to this, even if they are remakes. But still, it looks and feels like a step back. Overall, I don't have to give a shit about it because I'm not looking forward to either of these games, because they were just never a cup of tea for me. But hey, I'm happy for all of you that are looking forward to these games. I guess the only other thing to note about these games is that they're not being developed by Game Freak. And I think that's the other thing that threw people for a bit of a loop. You would think Game Freak would be developing the traditional, so to speak, game, art style wise. But no, it's this company called Ilka that was founded in October of 2010. This nearly 11-year-old company is trying their luck at something other than Pokemon Home. And to that end, I guess that's the only other interesting thing to note. I thought they'd have a bit more history, but they're just a small Japanese support studio. So that explains that. Now allow me to get on to the symbolism that I am looking forward to in the other two games presented in the Pokemon Presents. With that said, new Pokemon Snap is very symbolic indeed. This is also a game that's not my cup of tea, but I can't do anything but respect everything about it. I love how expressive it is. I love how visually stunning it is. And yes, it has to be. It's a follow-up, so it has to look like a photogenic experience. But this time it's in HD. Look at that. Imagine being able to interact with Pokemon like this in Sword and Shield. Throwing an apple at a Vaporeon is such a subtle thing to do, but when you can get this level of expression, all I can say is Bandai Namco, good job, and I hope they keep you on speed dial for the foreseeable future concerning expression and what you can do with these 3D models. It would be nice if Game Freak went this route with all of their main series Pokemon games, but sadly this can only be enjoyed in yet another spinoff, which is probably why it's so damning to a lot of people that the Diamond and Pearl remakes don't feature something like this, even though again they're just more remakes we surely have never seen before. Other than that, that's new Pokemon Snap for me. Again, it just makes me hopeful that we'll see a main series Pokemon game play out just like this. I mean, I just can't get over how glorious this game looks and expresses itself, and all you're doing is taking fucking pictures to complete your photo decks with. But the game that has me the most impressed, that go figure is being developed by Game Freak, is this bad boy right here, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now it kind of concerns me that all of these games are releasing close together, with the Diamond and Pearl remakes coming out later on this year and this game coming out early next year, because they've clearly been working on all of these games before, during, and after Sword and Shield. So we'll see how much actual effort has been put into everything, along with any quality of life stuff, which, if anything, side note, is the one thing I can truly praise Sword and Shield for. Never has competitive Pokemon and items of all shapes, sizes, and colors been more accessible and spoon-fed to you than in Sword and Shield. But Pokemon Legends Arceus, a bold new direction. This right here, ladies and gents, is supposed to be our open world Pokemon game. Now the art style and everything is rough. Everything in this trailer screams that the footage is not final. Choppy frame rates, lag, you name it. You do the seek, sneak, and seize thing, and then it's the traditional turn-based battles, and I'm all for that. But I love that statement and how intriguing it sounds. Game Freak is really expected to deliver here. Now for those of you that have played Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum back in the day, when you get to Canalave Library, there's some books there, if I recall correctly, that you read that talk about the Sinnoh of old, and I'm guessing that's pretty much what this game is based off of. And we've seen this before with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, but it's nice to see another game that actually truly defines a main series Pokemon game, unlike Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, do this. It's daring to not only try something different just like Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, but it doesn't look like it's daring to drift too far away from tradition and everything that Pokemon has progressed into. For the first time, you're completing the region's first Pokédex, and the environments may look bland as hell, but the thing to remember here is that this is the Sinnoh of old. It's like a first settlement kind of thing. So if you go into this expecting not your typical Pokemon gameplay, I think that will prepare you for the type of game this dares to be, let alone the bold new direction that Game Freak claims they want it to go. But I think you'll enjoy the direction and the gameplay all together, if not understand it from that perspective. Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee were visually more stunning than Sword and Shield, admittedly, but they ultimately failed, taking away the traditional things that they really shouldn't have omitted, like held items and abilities, in order to offer Kanto fan service once again and pander to yet another reimagining of Pokemon Yellow, let alone the first generation of Pokemon games. And you just end up with an overpriced Pokemon Go and Safari Zone simulator that clearly a lot of people panned, not to mention the extremely limited roster. But I digress. I like that they're telling the story that we never got with Arceus and the Azure Flute, along with this feudal Sinnoh, as they put it. So it'll be nice to go back back, but not so far back that the gameplay is unrecognizable, like in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee in that regard. And since this is supposed to be a bold new direction for the franchise, that gets an A+ from me, because after 25 years of the same thing, the 25-year stagnancy, I'm up for anything that dares to go in a bold new direction for this franchise, and just quite frankly gives me something that for once makes me feel like I'm not stuck in limbo every time I pick up a Pokemon game, because there's too much familiarity. I get that a lot of people are concerned about this game because they're so used to the same old shit for what seems like forever. And you know what? I'm for it. And that's my takeaway from the Pokemon Presents. New Pokemon Snap is everything a main series Pokemon game could and even should be, and it's nothing less than impressive. Everything people wanted out of Sword and Shield as the first console main series Pokemon game can be found in this spinoff, which is nothing more than a camera on rails that offers a more modern, photogenic adventure. Diamond and Pearl remakes, well, for all of you that want them, you got them, I'll say that much. And for Pokemon Legends Arceus, it's the bold new direction when you look at it at its core and can shake off everything you're so familiar with, is the bold new direction this franchise wants, needs, and quite frankly, 25 years in the making, is long overdue to be graced with.